I'm gonna go down the line. Well, this shit isn't even out yet. Baldur's Gate 3 isn't even out yet. I'm putting that in a D tier. It's pretty much Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Which I will say, there's a lot of good stuff going for these two games. And it's going to be like a sequel to that, but with more D&D vibes. So it's going to be more for people who like the Forgotten Realms and 5th edition D&D. But the thing that pisses me off about Baldur's Gate, and I think pisses a lot of people off, is that the original Baldur's Gate games are not, they do not play anything like Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of gameplay, kind of in terms of narrative style. And it's kind of rough because it's not really for fans of Baldur's Gate 3. It's for fans of Divinity who want a D&D game, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. The game should be hype. I'm probably looking forward to it. I'm going to put it in B tier for now because it pisses me off because there's a big expectation for it. And that's not really the game's fault. But there's a big expectation. And I think they're under-delivering on it, or a little bit. It's not quite there. I think it would have been better as Divinity 3, but we'll see. The game's not even out yet, so who knows. But I'm putting it in B tier for now. I'm not super hyped to play it, but we'll see. Divinity, alright, it's hard to fucking rate these games because they're all so good. Like, even Divinity 1 and 2 are amazing games, and the things they do really well is, like, the art style is really nice, it's very unique, and it's really good. The gameplay, it's really good turn-based CRPG gameplay, which is kind of uncommon. And they were one of the first to do it in the modern era. Before them, it was like Temple of Elemental Evil was the first game that really did good real-time or turn-based RPG. But I don't know, like the leveling system is not super satisfying. The leveling system isn't super satisfying. The gameplay is kind of repetitive, even though all these games, like most CRPGs, you're just spamming your moves. But because it's turn-based, it slows the game down a lot. And I think there's like just too much mechanic where there's like acid everywhere and then it explodes and everyone's getting blasted and lit up. This is probably one of the games I'd be least hyped to like go back and replay. I think one great thing also that Divinity has is multiplayer, but it's hard to gauge on that. Divinity awesome for multiplayer. It's one of the few that has amazing multiplayer. Divinity 2 is just a tier above Divinity for sure. It's just more polished, better character character progression. There's way more, there's like NPC mechanics that are kind of in Baldur's Gate. I might even put this in A tier. And I'd probably be pretty excited to replay this one. There's more NPCs to interact with. The group dynamics are more interesting. It seems like the plot is more fleshed out. And the game itself is a little bit more serious. I'd be hyped to replay that. Yo, Disco Elysium, S tier for sure. Maybe even S+. This shit is insane. This is definitely the most revolutionary CRPG. It kind of doesn't even belong in this conversation. But yo, Disco Elysium is amazing. If you have not seen it, you need to check it out. I should probably just be pulling them up on Steam. But yeah, yo, Disco Elysium, one of the best. Easily, what year this come out? Whatever year this came out, this is the game of the year. It is so damn good.
There's a dead body.
It is so fun to play. You can derp around and play it. The story is amazing. The characters are super cool. It's a ton of fun. Disco Elysium, godlike. Single player, no combat. It's up there. It's up there. Dude, I'm nervous to even think about what I put for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Divinity, or Dragon Age Origins is super fun. It really has like the Knights of the Old Republic vibe to it. It was fun. I was playing it. It was a lot of fun. It felt like a Knights of the Old Republic in a D&D world, and it was very well executed. I would be hyped to go back and finish this one. I'm putting this one S tier. Dragon Age Origins. I didn't play any of the other Dragon Age games. I heard this one was the best. I didn't finish it, and I had a dog on my team. That shit was sick. Oh god, the Elder Scrolls games? Oblivion's gotta be S tier, right? Oh shit, this is brutal because all these are classics, man. I fuck with Morrowind a lot, but I would not really want to play it. The system itself is a little bit too crazy. The graphics are kind of dated. It feels bad for like even Oblivion is like kind of dated now, right? But yeah, Morrowind was a sick one, especially because it had a system where nothing scaled with your level. All the environments were really cool. It was like dark and kind of grim. And freaky monsters in it. But the graphics are super dated now. And it had this system where like you would attack things and you would have to roll a hit or miss. Like you were playing a tabletop RPG. And that is not super satisfying. Damn, just watching this makes me want to play it though. Yo, maybe we'll run it back. Maybe we'll run it back on Morrowind. Oblivion, I think, is the shit because like Oblivion style is where every Elder Scrolls game is going to be compared to. Like Morrowind looked similar, but Oblivion played, and it played so well. Yeah, I kind of want to try Morrowind. It seems like a really hardcore one, but Oblivion is when the graphics became kind of timeless and the gameplay got really clean. And all the progression was clean. I think this game is what did it. Although the plot itself of the game was kind of repetitive. You would just climb all those towers and fight the things. But yeah, like Skyrim, when... This game pretty much is Skyrim, but with worse graphics and less dragons. I'm putting Oblivion S tier. I'm putting Skyrim A tier. That's right. Just because Oblivion, it really paved the way, man. I think Morrowind was dope, and I want to replay that maybe the most of any of these, or like do a playthrough of it. Oblivion, I played a bunch, and it really is like the one that made it happen. And then Skyrim just kind of took this and polished it. Does that mean that Skyrim's better? I don't know. I don't know. I'll put them both A tier for now. Wait, actually, this is too much. I'm putting Divinity in B tier. I'm putting Divinity in B tier. Damn, because yo, these two really are amazing games. Alright, what else we got? Icewind Dale 2 has a lot going for it. Icewind Dale 2 has a lot going for it. It's probably not even on Steam. It ain't even on Steam. That's how crazy this game is. That's how crazy this freaking game is. You're restarting Divinity? I think Divinity is a fun game. I think it's too slow for my little ADHD brain. But it is a super fun one, and I actually might end up doing a playthrough of it just because. But yeah. So, Icewind Dale 2 is one of those classic BioWare or Black Isle CRPGs. The gameplay was fine. It's super linear. It has one of the best. It has the cleanest 3rd edition system on creaminess. What are you talking about now? Do you need a break, man? It has some of the best character like level up progression because you get so much customization. You can multi-class in this. It has great item system, like a lot of crazy items in this that are like class dependent. But it doesn't really deliver on the 3rd edition system as well as it could because it's all combat, and I think that kind of hurts it. It's also there's no NPCs, which is a classic thing in Icewind Dale. It has good music. It has a pretty cool setting. I'm putting Icewind Dale 2. Dude, I love all the old school ones. Are so good. I'm putting it A tier because it has that great 3rd edition system, and you can kind of just turn your brain off and play it and level up and have a good time. Probably would be a really fun multiplayer one. Unfortunately, I don't think it has an enhanced edition coming out. I think the files for this were lost to the ages, so they are not going to remake it. But it was a really cool one. I have the old CD of it. Icewind Dale Heart of Winter and Icewind Dale 1. I'm putting down in D tier. Yo, what's up, Para? I love all the Black Isle BioWare games, but Icewind Dale is just like, it's not really it. It's not really it. You know, it has a lot of, you level up a lot and it's fun, and it has better art. The art is way better. Like the special effects for spells are way better than Baldur's Gate. You're fighting way more unique enemies, but it's just dungeon after dungeon. It's very linear. You don't really get like RP moments or like any real big decision making. It's kind of just like old school D&D where you're just I have a dungeon in front of you. Your characters don't matter. Get in there and zug. It is fun to hit high level though, but yeah. I think if you're looking for that experience, there's probably better games out there for you. Icewind Dale is still an awesome one though. Yo, Knights of the Old Republic. That's a S tier. Because this Knights of the Old Republic, one of the best CRPGs of all time. It was made by BioWare, right? It set the fucking, it created that genre. It was like the first one to kind of do that, right? That first person gameplay. Where you just walk around, you get a team. Damn, I bet the graphics are kind of dated now. What is this? This is just the roll of it. You get that fucking, anytime you talk to someone, it zooms in and you get the little dialogue options. It was cool. It was the Jedis and stuff is cool. Oh man, let's not talk about this little mute city game. But yeah, man, all the NPCs that you meet were super cool. Unlocking becoming a Jedi was super satisfying. Oh my god, I don't remember anything about that. The exploration was cool. The world felt kind of big and explorable. And it was kind of open-ended at certain points, and you didn't really feel like you were getting railroaded. That shit is... That's godlike one. That might even be S+ tier. But yeah, that's definitely one of the best. Knights of the Old Republic 2, I picked it up, and it just didn't feel the same. For some reason, it just didn't feel the same. Maybe I need to try it again. Maybe I need to try this Morrowind again. But like the beginning was slow. I don't know. People are probably gonna be tight about that. But yeah, it just didn't quite feel the same. Even though it has a same genre going for it, it's got everything's the same. That's what I have to say about Knights 2. Maybe I need to replay it. Mass Effect. Mass Effect was trash. I'm a Mass Effect hater. All right, this is a personal take for me. This is the best. I think this is my favorite of the Mass Effect games. Trash, bro. Trash. I don't care about any of these NPCs that we meet, any of the people that join your team. I don't give a fuck about any of these planets or anything. I don't like shooting a gun around. I did like talking to people and being like, I'm Commander Shepard. I'm a big deal. Bam, 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 bam. That was fun. Anything else? The character progression? I can't even remember. All you do is shoot people with your shotgun. Actually, get this shit out of here. It's D tier. Trash. Trash. Unfortunately. I feel like it could have been really good. I like talking to people in this game. Everything else put me to just fucking wake me up in the morning. Alright. Neverwinter Nights 2. We just played through this. Oh boy. How do I feel about Neverwinter Nights 2? It was a little bit buggy, man. I'm putting it A tier. The end of Neverwinter Nights really tilted me. It's top of A tier. The end really tilted me, but the game itself is so sick. Like the controls kind of tilted me, but that might be my problem or like a me thing. The NPCs getting all buggy and like not being able to move. That was super rough. But the game itself was really cool. My other complaint about it is that it was made by the same team, I think, that did Knights of the Old Republic, BioWare. Or Obsidian, they kind of get like mixed together. But it came out like 2 years later and the dialogue system was worse. It would do those pop-ups where it's like, hey, just click the text. That shit is horrible. Not a fun experience as a player. Even though obviously it's expensive, because this did a lot of like, you talk to people dialogue and they have voice acting. Voice acting is expensive. It takes a lot of time. Unfortunate, but the mix of that, it just didn't feel good, especially during like big main quest moments and like big quest moments, having the little box pop up on the screen. Not super fun. But that might just be a thing in that one campaign I did. Maybe the other campaigns are better. It's cool too. Neverwinter Nights 2 has the thing going for it where there's a ton of fan content. Like people make shit for it. Character customization is 10 out of 10. The art is amazing. The art still looks really good today. And it's just damn clean fun. All the NPCs are dope. That's really what it comes down to. There's like, yeah, it's like the NPCs are dope. The graphics are dope. Character progression is dope and feels really good. The gameplay itself feels pretty good at its heart. But the bad things about this one are the controls are really jank. The dialogue is really jank sometimes. And there's no multiplayer. No multiplayer for it is a really sad, because it's such a good, it would be such a good game with good multiplayer like Neverwinter Nights 1 has right now. They just need to do an enhanced edition of it. But I had a lot of fun playing Neverwinter Nights. Even that campaign, who people said wasn't the best, it felt really fun. I felt like I had so many options. All these people on my team, I had like quests for them. I rate that one very high. Maybe even an S tier. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I can bring it up there. Actually, fuck it. Bottom of S tier. I would really want to play through other campaigns in Neverwinter Nights too. Hopefully have a less buggy time. But it is a really good one, man. Neverwinter Nights 1. Jesus. We had a lot of fun with this. We had a lot of fun with this one. The graphics are okay and kind of timeless. It's pretty much Neverwinter Nights, but like a little baby version of it. It has definitely that old school vibe, which is cool. It's the multiplayer, which is amazing. It has really good multiplayer. Character progression's really good. It doesn't have any voice acting. It's all those little dialogue blocks, but that's kind of just the way it goes. We give it credit for its age. There's not really any NPCs you care about in the story that I played, but having multiplayer made it so much fun. It was a ton of fun to play. I'm putting it top of A tier. There's something weird. These I kind of like Neverwinter Nights more just because I can do it with multiplayer. But in terms of gameplay, Neverwinter Nights 2 takes it. Pathfinder, dude, I'd be super hyped to play through the Pathfinder game. It feels kind of a bit like a slog, but it looks so good. I don't even know about. I haven't even started the second one, but I played through a tiny bit of. Wow, is this really only $6? That's crazy. You guys should get this game. Holy shit, it's so cheap right now. But yo, look at the graphics for this shit. The graphics are amazing. The graphics are amazing. It's super inspired by Baldur's Gate. It's pause. It's real time with pause. You might even be able to do turn-based. The games that have that as an option are amazing. The NPCs were pretty sick. The character customization and progression is insane. There's like 8 billion classes and like 8 billion feats. It's almost too much. It almost hurts the game. But it's just, you gotta play this game and play it serious because there's like so much shit going on, or follow a guide. Look at all these monsters, man. You get your fucking team. You're out there swinging. I was playing it. The controls feel so good. Oh my god, just blast it. Oh my god. You get like a little keep. And that's that thing that was really fun. I think that comes up in this, and that's a big old school D&D thing. And it comes up in Neverwinter Nights 2. You get your base, and then you're like upgrading your base, and you're working on your base. That's so much fun. That's what it's kind of all about. Because in old school D&D, you would go into a dungeon and you would fight shit and you would get a bunch of gold. And then the vibe was like you wouldn't do a bunch of role playing, but outside of the dungeon running, you would be like, I get a fucking, I want to buy a mate, I want to buy a wizard tower, I want to make a temple, I'm a priest, I want to make a temple, I'm a warrior, I want to have a keep, I want a castle. You're like a rogue, you're like, I want to start a little thieves guild. And then you invest all your stuff in that and you get like followers and stuff. And that's kind of one thing that Neverwinter Nights 2 really landed with its campaign, and I think that's something that Pathfinder really lands well. I'm putting this in A tier too, man. I'd be super pumped to play this. Super pumped to play this. I wouldn't be super pumped to play this. Well, I mean, I guess, is that the way I should be looking at it? No. Are these games just good as fuck? Yes. Skyrim is a great game. Oblivion's a great game. I think Oblivion is not super replayable. I think Skyrim is a lot more replayable. I'm moving Nights 2 down a peg. Skyrim is super fun, and the graphics are so amazing. It's got dragons. It's got a lot of things going for it. The vibe is 100% on point with Skyrim. You're fighting fucking the dudes. In Oblivion, the shit you fight is whack, but it's so it's like monumental the way the game was made. It changed. It was very like not is innovative, I guess, in small ways compared to Morrowind. But it fucking nailed it perfectly. Like, in terms of gameplay, Oblivion totally nailed it. Why is Skyrim under Dragon's Age Origins? Yo, Dragon's Age Origins was so fun. Are you kidding me? I had so much fun when I was playing Dragon Age Origins. You don't believe in the Dragon Age Origins? Bro, it's Skyrim. Yeah, but Oblivion, if you're gonna say it's Skyrim, it's Oblivion. Oblivion is better than Skyrim in the way that you're gonna say, bro, it's Skyrim. Oblivion did everything Skyrim did kind of better, and then Skyrim just upped the graphics and tweaked the setting. How dare you place Mass Effect down there? I never played it, but I'm on the internet. I haven't played. Yo, Mass Effect is trash. Yo, Zerafuse, what's up? You probably have some takes. I'm rating all these CRPGs that I played. Now that I'm an expert, I'm the leading expert on the internet of CRPGs. I'm putting them on a tier list. Mass Effect. Oof, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure some people enjoyed it a lot. If you like sci-fi, yeah, you probably like Mass Effect. You probably like Knights of the Old Republic. But you know what? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yo, what up, Bojo? How you doing, man? Alright, these games, I bet no one has played these. All these Shadowrun games, you guys don't even know about these. What's called Dragonfall? This is the best one. There's 3 of them that came out. They did Shadowrun Returns, and then they did Dragonfall, this one, in 2014, and then they did one in Hong Kong. This is based on this old RPG, Shadowrun. That's like kind of sci-fi steam, not really steampunky, but like future tech, but there's fucking fantasy elements and like wizardry and shit. And there's corporations. It's a really unique setting, and the game does turn-based combat, and it's very tactical. It's like XCOM, right? You hide behind stuff, you have guns, maybe you're reloading, I don't really remember. It's been a while since I played this. But it's pretty freaking fun. It's fun. It's like good Final Fantasy Tactics type gameplay. And the best one I thought by far is the second one, Dragonfall. All the NPCs you make are like super cool. The story is really cool. Character customization is really fucking on point. The music and everything is on point. I'm home, man. I'm putting Dragonfall S tier, but I don't think the other ones are as good. I would put like the Hong Kong one, maybe C tier, and the Returns one in the top of D tier. There's a lot of spread. I think if you're gonna play one of these games, these Shadowrun games, play Dragonfall for sure. And then if you like that, try the others out. They're still really good. Yo, you better move Morrowind before I call yo mama. I'm gonna try to replay Morrowind, but if I had to look at it and give it a grade, and then if I had to think about, hey, do I want to play this game? It's B tier. It's B tier. I've never gotten to Shadowrun. It is very good. If you're looking for something like XCOM Final Fantasy Tactics meets like a cool setting, a different this unique setting with like some cool characters, check it out. Alright, what else? Solasta, yo, let's talk about Solasta. Oh my god. Okay. So Solasta is a perfect example of a game that this is really the like what was the prize that they were giving out? Game of the Passion Project or whatever. Dude, Solasta is so on point for the things it does well, and it's so bad for the things it doesn't do well. But it has a limited budget. But this is a game that was kickstarted, I think. It's 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and it nails that to a T. The combat in Solasta is absolutely perfect. There's maybe one thing. There's like the weapon swapping isn't where it's supposed to be, but it's so good. When you're in a combat, the maps are all amazing. You have access to so many tools. You have so much freedom. It is terrific, dude. The combat is the best. If you just want to play Final Fantasy Tactics, but with 5th edition D&D, like maybe what you were thinking about with Baldur's Gate 3, this is the game. The monsters are kind of whack. They have a limited pool of creatures to fight. The plots are kind of silly. The puzzles are kind of boring. Exploration is kind of one-dimensional. Dialogue is horrible. But you could do fan-made content. You could do multiplayer with it. They added a bunch of classes. They could only take so many things from 5th edition D&D, so they took that and then they had to make up their own stuff. The stuff they made up is really good. Solasta, yo, whoever these guys are, give them some money. Let them add some RP elements, and you'll have a god tier game. I'm putting Solasta at the top of S tier. Actually, no, behind Disco. Actually, I'm putting Disco Elysium as S plus tier, but it's a totally different genre. You can't really even compare these games to Disco Elysium. It shouldn't even be on this list. Get out of here, Disco Elysium. We don't want to talk about you. But Solasta, godlike game. If you want some great 5e content, check that one out. Time to do some playthroughs. Yo, we did playthroughs all last year, but I will try to bang some of these out that I haven't like finished, like Morrowind. I might try to bang out. Move Morrowind at 100% A. At least you're kitten. Oblivion, yeah, Skyrim you could go back to. Skyrim's kind of timeless because the graphics are really nice. Oblivion has good graphics and good gameplay, but it doesn't hold up. But what carries it is that it is like it's the one that did it. This is what blew the series up and like nailed everything. Okay. You ever play the Skyrim mods with Macho Man? I've seen that, the Macho Man thing. Okay, what else we got? Oh, I haven't played Tides of Numenora, unfortunately, but I have played Planescape Torment. Oh my god, this game is fucking crazy. Holy shit. Yo, this is the game. Moose just started this. Look at this freaking game. So it's set in Dungeons and Dragons. It's set in Dungeons and Dragons like 2nd edition or 1st edition D&D. But it's almost not even, that almost never even is remotely part of the game. It's set in this place called Sigil, which is a city. It's called the City of Doors. It's in like hell or something. It's not on the same plane as like Earth would be of existence. And it's just full of fucking everything, bro. It's full of demons. Like, let me see what's the trailer even look like. Your character that you play in this is the typical like, hey, I have amnesia, and he wakes up at a morgue. He wakes up in a fucking morgue, and he's dead. And every time you die, you respawn there. They send you back because your character is like, that's his thing. He can like respawn when he dies, and it's fucking sick. And then like one of the first things you find out is like tattooed on your back is this like fucking paragraphs, essays that you've left for yourself. The first guy you meet is a fucking talking skull who's like a pervert. It's crazy. The people you get on your team are insane. This guy's a Gith Zerai, who we had in Neverwinter Nights too. They're like traveling through the plains. They're in this eternal war with mind flayers and shit. They're like out to do good. There's like another faction of them, the Gith Yankee, and they're like evil kind of, and they like are just warriors and like Viking-y. But they're crazy. They're all over the place. They can teleport through space kind of. They have mind powers. They're psionic. Other people on your team, this guy's like a fucking wizard lich man who killed himself somehow and is like still alive, and he's just permanently immolated and on fire, and he doesn't even talk. You have like a succubus lady who's like an angel or something. She's like an ex-angel or something. You have like a half demon girls on your team who's a thief. Yeah, there's like the angel succubus lady on your team. It's crazy. The people you get on your team are fucking amazing. Every character is so rich and cool with story. Your own character is so cool because you're traveling through the world. And you meet all these, oh, there's so much cool stuff going on. You meet all these people and they're like, yo, I fucking know you. You're that guy who all this shit. And you're like, whoa, I was a priest. I was like saving people's lives. I was like a missionary. What? And then they used to meet someone else and they're like, oh, you were a fucking warlord. You were destroying everything in here. You rampaged and pillaged and shit. It was crazy. I hate you. And you're just like, who am I? What am I? And there's such a cool dialogue. There's like a cool line that comes up that they would always put in the trailer, and it's like, what can change the nature of a man? And it's like you figuring out who your character is and like what you do and just wanting to know who you are. And you just travel through the whole universe, because the city that you start in at Sigil is the City of Doors, and it's like a closed disc, but there's portals in this city, like secret portals that you find random items to unlock, and they'll take you anywhere, to like any plane, anywhere you need to go. It's fucking nuts. The combat is horrible. I'm pretty sure you can play through the entire game without fighting though. But this game came out 8 billion years ago. This date isn't right. But the graphics are amazing still, man. All the characters are so cool. The setting is fucking awesome. You would just be having conversations with like demon people and being like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, how's it going? You know how when we watched Willow, there were those troll people who captured the party, and they were like, oh, we're trolls, and then you met the one guy and he was like, oh, how's it going, guys? I gotta interrogate you. That is like the vibe of Planescape. Like, you meet demons and they're just like super nice, and they're like bureaucrat demons that are like just massive. It's fucking sick. And you go through all these cities. It's so cool. It's so cool. That's S+ tier. This is the first S+, man. If you want to experience a really cool story, play Planescape Torment. There's not a lot of voice acting. There's so much reading text, but it is like, you know how I love Disco Elysium for these same reasons. Like, the story is so good. Disco Elysium is like is inspired by Planescape Torment, I think, and kind of takes it to the next level. They're both so good, but Planescape did it. It did it first and it nailed it. Don't play, like, it's the opposite of Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale is made by this team and they were like, hey, let's just make a dungeon crawler. This is like, hey, let's make a game and let's have it be fucking sick as hell story with the sickest shit going on. One thing Icewind Dale has is good music. They got good as hell music in the Icewind Dale games. Check that out. Alright, Temple of Elemental Evil. I played this a little bit back in the day. This one is, I don't wonder if it's even on Steam. It is a 3rd edition game, which is very rare. The only other one I can really think of is Neverwinter Nights, and Neverwinter Nights a 3rd edition. But it's like an isometric clean one. Oh god, I think it's not gonna be on. Does this even come up if I search this? Alright. It is great in some ways. I kind of want to replay it. It has like the most authentic 3rd edition combat. Kind of like Icewind Dale. It's just a big dungeon crawl. It actually looks really clean. You make your team, you level up your team, you have so many options. Don't expect a lot of RP. I heard it's really, really buggy. It has no multiplayer, I think. But it is quite clean. It is quite a clean experience. I really would be excited to go back and replay it. I'm putting it up there in A tier, man. Pathfinder I'd want to play a lot. Temple of Elemental Evil I want to play a lot. I actually know I'm bringing down a peg. That's right.
Yo.
It's like, I think this does Icewind Dale 2, but a little bit better. It's just like more hardcore. Bunch of mods for ToE that help with the bugginess. Yeah, I heard about that, Smug. I'd be super hyped to do a playthrough of that. Alright, what else have we got? Yo, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. This doesn't really belong in here. I don't know why I left it in. This shit right here, bro. Anyone ever play this? What should I get from 7-Eleven? Oh, I don't know. I used to eat pizza from there. They don't even have a trailer on this. This game was kind of crazy. But it was fun. It had a lot of RP. It had a little babyish open world. There are a bunch of ways you could play the game. I bet if I went through and replayed it, I would appreciate it a lot more. But I don't really know. I don't really remember it that well. But I would be super hyped to replay it, and I played it a little bit, and it was a ton of fun. I kind of want to put it at the bottom of B tier, but I wouldn't look forward to it that much. I'm putting it right here. Wasteland 2? Okay. So Wasteland is a series that is a lot like Shadowrun, but it's set in like a post-apocalypse wasteland. You get there's a lot of customization and shit. I think if you're into it, this game would be good for you. There's like hiding behind stuff, moving around. I played a little bit of it and I lost interest really fast. It's all guns. There's like no magic in it. There's no orcs and longswords. But it did have a pretty cool feeling. I bet if you're into it, that setting, you'd enjoy it a lot. Me personally, not interested. Dump it in the, put it in the dumps. Okay, Pillars of Eternity. I'm gonna talk about Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity is a sick game. It came out around the same time as Divinity Original Sin, like 2015, 2014, 2016, I think. And it did a lot of things really well. It was super inspired by Baldur's Gate. You could see it in the graphics. You could see it in the graphics, the isometric perspective, the like drawn backgrounds, the character models. It's super inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, but they do their own system, and it's a pretty accurate adaptation of the D&D system. The story is really cool. You feel like a lot of freedom to explore. You get a keep, and then you're upgrading that same thing that Neverwinter Nights 2 has, and Pathfinder has, and Baldur's Gate 2, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, it's cool. You explore these massive cities. Things that made me lose interest in it.
Every woman knows her womb may shed a stillborn.
A little bit of repetitive. It felt a little bit repetitive. And the plot, I couldn't really follow the plot. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't super follow the plot in the first one. I would enjoy going back and replaying it. Also in this, all the Kickstarter people had like extra NPCs on the side that kind of was distracting. But obviously you gotta shout them out and you gotta put them in, because they made this happen. Definitely a super good game with amazing art, great character customization. Some of the models are a little scuffed. And the whole plot was cool. You're like trying to solve this crisis and figure out what's going on with you. It's a pretty good one. Pillars of Eternity, pretty good. All the NPCs are quite rich too. The voice acting is amazing. The music is amazing, but it's a little bit too like quiet at times. It gets like a little dull. But I did love it a lot. I'm putting it at the bottom of A tier. It's a great game. I would put it up there like a little bit below Skyrim, a little bit below Neverwinter Nights. Pillars of Eternity 2, which we just finished, that game was fucking fire. It took what was good about the first game and it cranked it up. It made the whole world open world. You get a fucking boat. The boat is your castle. You have from the beginning of the game, you're on a fucking castle. You're always upgrading your boat. You got a crew. I didn't even care about the boat at all. And it was fucking sick. I was upgrading my crew. I'd find a freaking crazy Spider-Man. I'd be like, yo, you could join my crew. Get on my fucking crew. My boat was full. I had a fucking imp. I had a demon guy. I had a fucking ogre was on my team. The mind flayer I had on my team. My crew was nuts, bro. My boat was just ran by the fucking damned. You could get the Black Pearl ship with the ghost on it. You could capture that. The whole seas you're playing through, you're flying through the seas. That let you can multi-class. When you get it, when an NPC joins your team, they can fucking you pick what class you want them to be. You get 3 options. It can be like a rogue, a fighter, or a fighter rogue. It was sick. What the item system was so oh my god, it's on sale right now. You guys should all get this game. It was fucking sick. The voice acting, can we talk about the voice acting? They get the team from Critical Role, which is kind of like pandering, but they do such a good job. You can't even tell that like half the characters are, every other character you meet is voice acted by someone in Critical Role. Yo, this one was a good ass game. Pull it up. The settings all feel so much more rich because you're like on the boat. Sometimes you're on an island. You're going through all these temples and things. There's so much optional content. The amount of optional content feels like I'm playing Baldur's Gate. The bounties were pretty cool. I would just chase. There's those hard fights. They have endgame boss fights in it. All the equipment system, leveling up your equipment was awesome. All the companions are pretty interesting. You can even, if you don't like the companions, you could go to the tavern and recruit your own and make your own custom people. You could play, oh my god, I haven't got, oh Jesus. It's cool. You could be a good guy, you could be a bad guy. I'm sure there's a bunch of different endings. There's all these different factions you can fuck with. I didn't really care about the factions, but they're cool. They were there. You pick who your boys are, you betray people. The characters you meet are tied to these factions and they leave your group if you piss them off. All the cities, oh my god, the cities are there's so many massive cities that you just explore. It's like the first time you get to Baldur's Gate when you're playing Baldur's Gate. That happens in this. They capture that magic and it's amazing. The combat is crazy. You could do turn-based combat or you could do real-time with pause. They give you that option when you start the game. It's fucking nuts. The item system, you level up your equipment. So if you find a cool sword that you like the properties on, you can make it the best sword in the game. And then you have the fucking trees. When you get a magic item, you pick what kind of power you want on your weapon and your armor. Is fucking crazy. Holy shit. Such a fun time playing this game. I didn't really follow the plot. Alright, here's the bad things. It's a lot of the same voice actors, even though like everything is voice acted and it's done beautifully. A lot of the same voice actors. I couldn't really follow the plot. There were rare times in the main plot where like I wanted a route that I think a lot of people would want to go with that they didn't give us access to. So I was kind of like railroaded a little bit. And what's my last one? Oh, the journal is really hard to track, but obviously there's games in here that don't even have a journal, so it's just like, it's kind of like first world problems where it's like, it's not, my journal's not organized. That's whatever. Another thing, the inventory is not really organized, but that's how it goes. There are other games on this list that do inventory management better and do journal better. Those are small complaints, though, small complaints. This game is actually S tier. Pillars of Eternity 2, S tier game. It's fucking great. Highly recommend it, man. It doesn't have multiplayer, which is really unfortunate. It'd be such a blast with multiplayer, as is the case with like all these that don't have it. It's like, damn it, if only this game had it. But shit, that game is sick, man. That game was sick. God damn. It was cool. It feels like the problems I have with it are so nitpicky that it's like, whatever, man. Like, I couldn't just kill all the pirate captains. I couldn't just, I really wanted to fight the boss at the end, blah, blah, blah. It's whatever. It was such a fun time. I will say, though, this game, too, this game and, like, probably Dragon Age and probably, like, Shadowrun would be really hard. If you stop playing them, it'd be hard to pick them up and get back into them. So you have to play through all the way. Yo, next game. Oh, my God. This is another banger, dude. I love Tyranny. Tyranny is made by the team Obsidian, who made a bunch of these games on this list. They did Neverwinter Nights 2. They did shit like Jade Empire. They did Knights of the Old Republic 2. It's a bunch of the Black Isle team from like the original Baldur's Gate and shit. But they made this one, Tyranny.
For centuries, Kairos the Overlord has conquered the known world. In Kairos' empire, the execution of justice is paramount. As the final conquest draws near, you can institute the law from above or use the banner to institute your own. The destiny of nations is yours to decide.
Is that it? Oh my god. Tyranny. Alright. It's hard. It's hard. I don't even know where to begin about this game. Tyranny, man, is crazy. Tyranny is crazy. Probably... You make so many choices. It starts you off. You're the voice of like Sauron, You're here to deliver. So like Sauron wrote down this message for you to say in front of people, and you saying the message will give it power and authority. So you're the voice of Sauron, kind of. And you come to this land that's like in turmoil of like revolution and like warring factions. And you come here as a villain, as an oppressor, and you could just like do almost whatever you want. You can continue to be a bad guy. You could try to be a force for good. There are these, all the characters are crazy that you meet. They're called like archons, which are like, the whole thing is like people believe in these figures, like the leader of the mercenary group, the judge or whatever, this bounty hunter guy, and that gives them power and makes them into archons. And that like lets them do things that normal people can't do. And it's sick, dude. The NPCs you meet are really cool. There's a fucking combo system like in Chrono Trigger where like, hey, I have Billy on my team. Billy the fighter, he could throw me in there and I'm an archer, so I'll shoot fucking arrows down on everyone and blow them up. There's shit like that. The spell system in this game is ridiculous. Oh, Jesus, dude. The spell casting system in Pillars is, or in Tyranny is crazy. You like customize every spell you cast. You create it from scratch kind of and you like augment it. The skill system is nuts. The music is good. You have so many options when you create your character. The dialogue system, by the way, is like the best of any game you will ever see. There's so many things where it's like, hey, if you're this, you could say this. If your skill is this, you could say this, blah, blah, blah. You have all these factions, man. This is the first game I saw that had mouse over interactions. Like, look, in this, you can mouse over disfavored. They add this in Pillars of Eternity too, but this game does it even better than that, which came out after it. So you can mouse over this and it tells you all this shit. You can look at all the factions while you're talking to people. It'll even tell you like secret text. Like, look, in this dialogue right here, there's this green thing. And it says, because of this choice, this person said, you of all people know how much iron, blah, 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 blah. This is because of some choice you made, and they're referencing that. So you can just pop back into this one, and you'll see like, hey, what are they talking about? And they'll even reference stuff from like events that you pick before the game started and things you do. You're making all these choices. You have to pick between factions. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. It's single player only. You do these things too, and it's like, hey, this is the year. This is what's happening. You need to make decisions about this. Where are you going? Where are you sending your army? It's sick, and it all takes place in this little land. You make edicts too. You have to like, you have to make decisions and things. These are these two leaders, man. The Voices of Nara is one guy, and then Grave Ash, and these are like the two mercenary camps that you could kind of fuck with. You get favor with everybody. It's like all these things. Kairos, you can mouse over Vellum Citadel, you can mouse over the Firesword. So they do a great job with these games where they don't have to explain, hey, there's something called the Vellum Citadel. They just say it to you, and your character lives in this world, so you know what it is, so you can just mouse over it and be like, the Vellum Citadel, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, okay. And then you can just carry on like you're in it. It's so immersive. Tyranny is amazing. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Highly recommend this one. This is S tier. I'm putting it above everything else. Tyranny, God tier game. So good. So good. It's a good one. It's also got that like Roman Empire vibe, which is totally unique and doesn't come up a lot. It's like you're part of this empire that's expanding. That's in no other game, really. It's cool, man. It's freaking cool. All right, the last two games, Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2. You guys know how I feel about Baldur's Gate, man. One of the best to ever do it. Without Baldur's Gate, there would be no Divinity, there'd be no Pillars of Eternity, there'd be no Tyranny, there'd be no Neverwinter Nights, there'd be no Icewind Dale. Whatever the team was that made this original one, they changed the world of gaming. In terms of villains, Saravak is such an iconic villain just because it's like such a simple badass guy. You see him in the opening cutscene, you see him in like the first game cutscene, which was really cool at the time. The game is just fucking free exploration. As soon as you start the game, you're free to go wherever you want. You can get in over your head super easily. You start at level 1, the world is super fucking dangerous. The game is so unforgiving. Doesn't hold your hand at all. This is from an era where they wanted you to read like a 100-page manual before you touch the game. So they didn't tell you like, hey, you need 18 dexterity on all your characters. Hey, wizards are gonna suck at level 1. Blah blah blah. They just throw you in it. All the NPCs are super cool. You don't interact with them a ton, but they're so rich and there's so many. It feels so fun just meeting people when they chirp up. It's sick. When you get to Baldur's Gate for the first time, it is an experience unlike anything else. When this came out, when you got to Baldur's Gate, the name city, and you just see how massive it is. It's like, holy shit, this game is nuts. Equipping yourself, getting gear is fun in this game. Side quests are all over the place. The main plot is pretty cool and interesting to follow. Even though you can kind of lose yourself in it if you don't read all these little scrolls and things. A lot of it is told. All right. So it's good, right? Your character's really cool. Leveling up is whatever. So, okay. It's a great game, right? There's a big-ass map. You run around the map. It's like Skyrim. It's like Skyrim and Oblivion before they ever came out. I mean, I never got told Sarabak was your brother. You might have missed that part. He's your brother. You're both. There's a lot going on. Yeah, a lot of it is you have to read it through these like little scrolls that you find at big key points. But it's got, by far, at the time, it beat every game in like every aspect. But even by today's standards, the freedom that you have in Baldur's Gate is unparalleled. There's so many characters. You have so many options for your character too. The music is amazing. It's alright, so those are the good things about it, right? The bad things about it, especially today. The journal, it's probably hard to track side quests in your journal, same as Pillars of Eternity 2. Inventory management is kind of tough. The game itself is incredibly unforgiving. Like one bad roll and your character's out of the fight or you're just dead. It doesn't warn you, hey, these monsters are about to fuck you up. It doesn't tell you, hey, you need to do this to hit this guy. There's not a ton of character custom. It's just 2nd edition D&D. There's not a ton of character customization. You level up most of the time. You don't even get to pick anything. Anything else bad about Baldur's Gate? The main plot can be kind of hard to follow. But the strengths of this game is the freedom to explore, the amount of NPCs you're going to meet, and how full the game just feels so full and so immersive. Like everywhere you go, something's happening, whether you like it or not sometimes. And it's like you can go anywhere. You won't even visit half these places playing through the game. Baldur's Gate is better than Tyranny. It's the best. It's the best CRPG of all time to ever do it. Con Wizards OP. It's the best to ever do it. There, I said it. By today's standards, it's harsh. But it's like the Ocarina of Time of CRPGs. It changed the whole fucking game. It created a format. It did so many things so well. One of the most important things is freedom as a player. And it nailed it 100%. Alright, the last one, Baldur's Gate 2. This is what most people, I think, call the greatest CRPG of all time. So it took a lot of the things that Baldur's Gate 1 did and just cranked them up. Like better graphics, more spells, more classes, more character customization, deeper NPC interaction, more epicness. They brought up the level scale, so this picks up where the first game ends. More voice acting. The voice acting, by the way, in all the Baldur's Gate games is amazing. And there's so many like iconic moments in like Baldur's where it's like meeting Nuber, just talking to the Flaming Fist people, the bandits talking about all their weird shit, mince lines, all these like voice lines. The music changed. The music and the vibe kind of changes in Baldur's Gate 2 to be more like stringy orchestral, rather where like the first game was horns and had this badass feel. What is this? Nobody cares about this.
Your Grace,
but Baldur's Gate 2 is fucking epic, man. You get to higher levels, and the things you start to do are crazy. Like you're exploring these like giant areas. There's dragons everywhere. You go on all these. Even your side quests are like, holy shit, the scale is insane. The plot is so much more concise. The villain is amazing.
The child of Baal has awoken. It is time for more experiment.
Iconic, dude. Iconic. That villain is so amazing. The plot is really easy to follow. You always know what's going on. You get more like crazy items. In the first game, there's not a lot of interesting items that you get. In this one, there's crazy items all over the place. There's crafted. You start fighting dragons. You craft items. You get a keep, which is amazing. You can get like the thing I was talking about earlier. If you're a priest, you get a temple. If you're a mage, you can get like a wizard's place. If you're a fighter, you get a keep. Every class. If you're a thief, you actually become a leader of a thieves guild. You can get all this stuff. And the Throne of Ball expansion is pretty good too, although that's kind of railroady. Baldur's Gate 1, you start off in, or Baldur's Gate 2, you start off in the big city, and you can fucking explore. You can get in over your head at times. It is a really fucking good one, man. And it has so much more of that NPC interaction. which is cool. And the NPCs also feel amazing. This one, I'm putting S+. It's right behind Baldur's Gate. I have so much nostalgia for Baldur's Gate 1. If I was being objective, Baldur's Gate 2 is probably better. It might even be like this or like this. But I love Baldur's Gate. I think everyone should try it. It's such a crazy one. But Baldur's Gate 2, God tier. The only things it really does bad is that it at high levels in the D&D world, it's just you tend to fight a lot of creatures, so it becomes kind of a slog. Whereas Baldur's Gate 1, every fight is like, oh shit, I'm just scrapping. You fight like 6 people and you're like, oh my god. And you kind of lose that magic with Baldur's Gate 2 because it becomes like they're throwing hordes at you and shit, which is a huge problem in Icewind Dale 2 and Icewind Dale 1. But it's kind of hard to get around that. But the fucking storylines in BG2, the world, the characters, all perfect. So there you go. This is the tier list. This is everything you need to know about all these RPGs. We'll probably try to play through some of these at some point. Why Icewind Dale 2 low? It's a slog. It's railroady. There's no NPC interaction. It's a fun game though. If you just want to play like get in there and start zugging, kind of like a Final Fantasy Tactics, but with real time with pause, it's a pretty good one. But yeah, not the cleanest. But there you have it, man. There you have it. Hope you had a good time. Maybe we'll put this on YouTube. Check it out. Check these games out. Highly recommend. If you're coming in and you haven't played any of these, I highly recommend Tyranny. I highly recommend Planescape Torment if you can handle something that's old school. Baldur's Gate 1, if you can handle something that's old school, is probably the best. These two, Baldur's Gate is just sick. If you want to play like a D&D game, old school, that's like full exploration, start with Baldur's Gate. If you want to play something that's like gonna just be a sick story with a bunch of dialogue and fun stuff in a weird place, Planescape Torment. If you want to play something fucking sick, Tyranny. Disco Elysium, if you want something modern that has a cool story and a really cool system. If you want to play something multiplayer and you just want to play combat, I would say maybe Neverwinter Nights is your best multiplayer pick. And the Enhanced Edition has a really easy multiplayer. Celasta, if you want to play something turn-based with multiplayer as well, or maybe even Divinity 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. If you're I'd recommend Celasta if you're a hardcore D&D 5e guy, play Celasta. Otherwise, you can try like Baldur's Gate, Divinity, Neverwinter Nights if you want some more hardcore stuff. Baldur's Gate, you can also play multiplayer really well. I highly recommend that. Highly recommend that as well. And then you always got the classics. Dragon Age, Knights of the Old Republic, and Neverwinter Nights 2 are really, they're all up in here by the run, and they're all the same style. If you like that style, check out the other ones. Shadowrun, if you want to play something with guns and like a little bit of a different like tech corporation stuff. Dragonfall is really fun, has a really cool story. And then if you want something single player, Pathfinder, Temple Elemental Evil, Neverwinter Nights 2, Pillars of Eternity. There you go, man. There's everything you need to know. What is up here? These are all the games that I didn't play or didn't really want to rate or I didn't think fit the vibe. So cheers, yo. Thanks for hanging out for this.